Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this waffle stitch slouchy hat and a scarf to match. It's not hard, but you do need to know how to do front post double crochet and back post double crochet. So I particularly am not a fan of slouchy hats, nor hats with pom-poms on them. I do not think that I look good in them, and I don't even really know how to wear them. But I thought I would try it on for you so you could see what it looks like there. And that way you can determine if you want to make yours longer or shorter than what I did in the picture. But this is what it looks like. I don't know, palm might be kind of big on it. Whatever you guys think. I think I look like a nerd. But we will, the yarn's gorgeous though. It's my color yarn. I love that. But you guys want to do it? You want to go ahead and get started? It's not hard. You can do it. I know you can do it. Let's go. Okay, so first the hat here, I'll show you. This should fit about a size between 21.5 and 22 inch size head. I will give you the multiple of the hat. It's worked from the bottom up, and then we gather it and put a palm on it, and then we put a little brim on it at the end. I'll give you the multiple in case you want to make it larger than that. And the scarf, I'll give you the multiple of that. Now, the hat and the scarf have different multiples, but it's still it's very easy to do if you can do front post and back post stitches. So let me give you a quick measurement of what we got going on here. So the hat, I'll start at the gathering point. All the way down is about 9 inches. If you want yours shorter than mine, you can always make it shorter. I tell you in the video where you can do that. And then the scarf, width-wise, it's about 5 inches. Like I said, 5 1/4. I'll give you the measurement to make it wider if you choose. And it's approximately 72 inches long, but you can make it any length that you want. Now, for this project, I used a Lion Brand's Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling. It's a 100% acrylic yarn. It's a medium 4-weight. Now, you don't have to use this yarn. Any medium 4-weight will work just fine. There are 185 yards per ball. Now, it took me almost all of one ball to make the hat, and 2.5 probably to make the scarf. But you don't have to make the scarf that long, or if you want to make it longer, that's completely up to you. But that was 185 yards per ball. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Now remember, this hat will work well for a man or a woman. This is a unisex set, so man, woman, whoever. It's going to look great on whoever. Okay, for the hat, we're going to start out with a chain of 60. Now, if you want, and we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. So we'll be working from the bottom of the hat up. Now, if you want your hat bigger, you just need to be in multiples of 3 to make it larger. But following along with me, for the size that I made, go ahead and chain 60. And now what we're going to do is follow this down without twisting our hook. And we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch to form our large ring. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now that chain 1 we just made does not count as a stitch. And now I'm going to work across my chain, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch, until I get all the way back around to the beginning. Just like that. So I'll meet back up with you at the beginning. Okay, so I've made it to the end of row 1, and you should have 60 stitches. And what we're going to do is go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first single crochet, not the chain one, but the first single crochet. Slip stitch 60 stitches, and that'll end round 1. So now we're going to start round 2. We are going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to put a double crochet right back into that very stitch right there that we just slip stitched into. And now we're going to work around, and we're going to put 1 double crochet into every single stitch until we get back to our starting point. So just like this. 1 double in every stitch until you make it back to the beginning. Okay, I've come to the end of round 2, and I still should have my 60 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and end round 2 by slip stitching into my first double crochet, not the chain 1. Now you'll have your 60 stitches. Now rounds 3 and 4 are going to be the repeat rounds of the hat. So we're going to go ahead and start round 3 by chaining 1. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to go right back into that same spot, and we're going to work a double crochet. And then we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. And then the next stitch we are going to work a front post double crochet. So we're going to go around the stitch and do a front post double. Like that. So what we just did there is we did 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and then a front post double crochet. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way around for round 3. So again, we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch, a double into the next, and then a front post double into the next. Just like that. Again, a double crochet into the next, and then a double crochet into the next, and then a front post double into the next. And I am going to repeat this pattern of 2 double crochets and then a front post double crochet all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, so I've come into the end of round 3, and your last stitch should have been a front post double crochet, and we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. And you should have 60 stitches. We're always going to have 60 stitches now from here on out. So now we're going to do round 4. I know the pattern isn't very visible now, but the more rows you do, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. We're going to start round 4, and it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to chain 1. Doesn't count as a stitch. We need to do a back post. We're doing back post now on this round. Double crochet around this first stitch. Now remember, we did a chain 1 here. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can yarn over and do your back post, and go through that chain 1 and the stitch, or what I usually do is I yarn over and I go in between that chain 1 and the stitch like that, and then do my back post double crochet like that. And then we need to do a back post double crochet around the next stitch. Remember, we're working back post, not front post. And then we're just going to do a double crochet, so regular double crochet in the top of the next stitch, which is actually a post stitch from the previous row. So we just do a regular double crochet into the top of that. So what we have now is 2 back post double crochets and then 1 regular double crochet. And that's what we're going to repeat for round 4. So we're going to do a back post double crochet around the next stitch, back post double crochet around the next stitch, and then a regular double crochet into the top of the next, and you'll be able to tell because it's a post stitch from the previous row. We just go right in it and do a regular double crochet. So again, we're going to repeat that again. Back post double into the next, back post double into the next, and then a regular double into the top of the next. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 4, and you should have ended with the regular double crochet here into this post stitch from the previous round. And we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first back post double crochet, and you'll have 60 stitches again. And that's it. Now we're going to repeat rounds 3 and 4. So for round 5, we're just going to repeat what we did here on round 3. So if you remember right, we chained 1 and we put a double crochet into the first stitch and into the next stitch, just regular doubles. So there's 1, 2, and then we did a front post double crochet around the next stitch, like that. And then we do double crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. And then the next stitch we did a front post double crochet. And I'm just going to keep repeating rounds 3 and 4 for a while here until I get my hat a bit taller. You can make this regular beanie, or you could make it slouchy. Slouchy would just, it is the same. You just add more rows to make it longer. Or just, you know, however you want it to fit your head. But I'm going to keep repeating 3 and 4. We're always going to have 60 stitches. And I'm going to keep going, and I'll let you know how many total rows of 3 and 4 that I do here in just a second. Okay, so here's mine right now. Right now mine measures right about 8 inches from top to bottom. I will be putting a little small brim on the bottom too. So once you get yours as tall as you want it to be, or measuring about 8 inches, what we're going to do, you want to make sure that you end in a row of where you did 2 double crochets in a front post double crochet row. Now what we're going to do is we ended with the slip stitch into our first double crochet. You want to pull a long tail, and we're going to sew up the top. So pull a long tail out and clip your yarn and get your yarn needle. Alright, so I got a real long tail here. It's probably like 3 feet. It's probably way too long, but go ahead and load up your yarn needle and we'll sew up the top. What I do when I sew up the top here is this: I go every other stitch back, and then I'll skip a stitch and go through the next. You can skip 2 stitches if you want, but I usually just skip 1. Skip 1 and then go back through. Make sure you're going through the top of the stitch. Try not to get snagged up on anything. That way when you pull it tight closed, it don't get knotted up on anything. And we're going to do this all the way around until we get back to the beginning, and then we'll be able to pull it shut. Put a palm on it if you want, and we'll work on the brim. So every other, back and forth. Till you get back to where you started. Okay, so I have made it all the way back around, and what you want to do is just kind of gently pull on it, and it'll gather up the top like that. You see that, how it's gathering? Don't pull it too hard. You don't want your yarn to break. Some yarn breaks easier than others, but once you get it pulled up to the top, there could still possibly be a little bit of a hole there, and that's fine. Now what we're going to do is just sew it all shut with the remainder of our tail. So if you have a little bit of hole there, as we're hiding our tail, just kind of sew that hole shut. Pull kind of tight. Make sure it's staying together. You don't want to pop it open on top of your head. Once you've done it enough and you feel that it's secure, you can go ahead and clip your yarn. Okay. Okay, so that's what I got so far. Now I'm going to go start at the bottom of my hat. And I'm going to work the back side of my hat where the seam is. That's where I'm going to start my yarn. So here's where I started in the beginning. So now I'm going to grab my yarn again and just start somewhere around here where the seam's at. Or somewhere around here in any stitch on the back of your hat. And go through any stitch, pull up a loop, and chain 1. Now go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet 1 time in every stitch all the way around. I'm going to try to hide these tails as I go. Carry both of them with me as I go. So this will be round 1 of the brim. And I'm working 1 single in every stitch until I get back to my starting point. Okay, so once you make it back to the beginning, we're going to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into our first single crochet, and you should have 60 stitches. If you don't, as long as it's close to that, you know, that's fine. Now I'm going to do another round. I'm going to chain 1, go back into that same stitch and single crochet, and I'm going to go around again putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. So you can do as many rows of single crochet as you would like for the brim. So I always like to try the hat on and see. This might be my last row, but I'm not sure. But I'm just repeating what we just did, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it back to my starting point. Okay, so I went ahead and done a total of 3 rounds of single crochet at the bottom. You can do more if you want. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, but try it on, and if you want it to be, man, I got the dull scissors there, more slouchy or more, the brim thicker, that's completely up to you, you know, however you want it. Then what you want to do is hide this tail, and then you can apply your pom-pom. If you want to put a pom-pom. If not, you don't have to. It looks cool the way it is too. But pom-poms, I can give you a quick. Okay, so my pom-pom's the type with the button snap. So what I'll do is use a regular thread and needle and sew it to the top of my hat, and then it'll snap on. That way you can it has to snap here already on the pom. That way you can take it off if you want when you wash. But like I said, I'll sew it really tight with regular thread and regular needle, and then snap it on the top. Now some pom-poms have elastic bands. Those you can either sew on with the yarn and the yarn needle, or some people put just a regular button inside the hat, and then they will put that elastic from the pom through the top and just attach the elastic to that button, and that way it's removable during washing. Also, either one is acceptable. So I'm going to go ahead and sew my pom-pom on. Okay, so I am done with my hat here. Got my pom on. Hat's finished. Now we'll go ahead and do the scarf, which is very, very easy. It is actually easier than the hat, because in the hat we worked in the round, which made us have to do back post double crochets, which aren't hard, but front posts are always easier. And when you work the scarf, we work only front post double crochets because we're working back and forth. Now, if you want to make your scarf wider than mine, so the chain amount that we make is the width of the scarf. It's just how wide it is, and then we work to the length. So if you want to make it wider, this is done in a multiple of 3 plus 2. So for mine, I started out with a chain of 23. So 21 was my multiple of 3, and then I added 2 more for a total of 23 stitches. Okay, so I got my 23 stitches here. Don't mind my hook, it's the same size. It's still the J. I lost the other one for some reason. I don't know. It's amazing how fast you can lose a hook. Okay, once you get your chain amount, I got my chain of 23 done. Now I'm going to do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. Now remember, we don't count the one that's on the hook. We count over 1, 2, 3, and 4, and double crochet in that 4th stitch. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the end of our row. Okay, so I've made it to the end of row 1, and I should have a total of 21 stitches, and that's counting this whole chain here on the end. He counts as a stitch. So counting him, we'll have 21, and that's the number we're going to have the whole time for the rest of the pattern. So it's going to be 21. So rows 2 and 3 are the repeat rows. So we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet right back there into that very first stitch. Just like that. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post double crochet over the next 2 stitches. So front post double in that one, and front post double into the next. And now the next stitch, we're just going to do a regular double crochet right on top of it, just regular double. And then we're going to kind of repeat that by doing 1 front post double into the next 2 stitches. So front post double in this one, front post double into the next one, and then a regular double crochet into the top of the next. Again, front post double into the next 2 stitches. Just 1, go to the next one, front post double, 2, and then 1 regular double crochet into the top of the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get near the end of the row. Alright, I'm coming to the end of the row, and I just did 2 front post double crochets, and I have 2 stitches left. And since I'm at the end of the row, I'm just going to double crochet into those last 2, because we began the row with a double crochet in the first 2. Just like that, 21 stitches at the end of row 2. And now we're going to start row 3 by chaining 1 and turning our work. And we're going to put a double crochet into that very first stitch. Now this time we are going to put a front post double crochet into the next stitch. Just 1 front post double crochet around the next stitch. And then the next 2 stitches right here, which were post stitches for the previous row, we're just going to put a regular double crochet in the top of them, of each of them, like that. And then we front post double crochet around the next stitch, and regular double crochet into the top of the next 2. And this is a pattern we're going to repeat until we get to the end of row 3. And then front post double into the next. I think once you get to going on it, get your rows down, 2 double crochets in each of the next 2, it'll go by really fast. It's really a pretty quick stitch. Or 1 double in the next 2 stitches. Front post double crochet into the next, 1 double into the next 2 stitches. And you do this until you get to the end of the row. 1 double into, or 1 front post double crochet into the next, 1 double into the next 2 stitches. I'm almost to the end here, so I'll just finish out the row. 1 front post double crochet into the next. 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 front post double crochet into the next, and then you'll have 1 stitch left, and go ahead and double crochet right into the top of it. Now that'll be the end of row 3. If you look, you can kind of see the waffles starting to take place, and you'll be able to see it the more rows that you get to going on it. You'll start to see it a lot more, but it'll go by pretty quick. So we just keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until we get the scarf. You can get it, make it as long as you want it to be. You can make it long and sew it together, make it an infinity scarf, whatevs. It's up to you, however long or short you want it to be. But just keep going until you get the scarf finished. And then once you're done with that, tie off, you're done. And then you got a nice hat and scarf set for yourself or as a gift. I think it's cool. It has a lot of texture. Now, like I said, I'm not really a slouchy or a palm fan, but for some reason, this palm really works well with this yarn. I like it. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram, on Facebook, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Give this a big thumbs up. Check out all my crochet content. If you don't crochet, if you're a knitter, check out all my yarn content. I hold giveaways. It's just all in all a good time here, I think anyways. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day.